Most people wait for motivation. They wait for confidence. They wait for the perfect moment to feel ready. But progress has never belonged to those who wait. Progress belongs to those who decide to grow even when nothing feels easy, even when no one is watching, even when the results are slow. Your income, your mindset, your discipline, your self-respect, and your future are all tied to how seriously you take personal growth. Not once in a while, not when life feels calm, but consistently, quietly, and intentionally. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of who you become. And if growth is ignored, life has a way of shrinking your options without asking permission. Moment matters, not because it will magically change, but because it can change the direction you move in from this point forward. Growth is not something you do after success arrives. Growth is what pulls success toward you over time. Stay focused. Stay present. What you are about to hear is not theory. It is the foundation of lasting change. Part 1. Decide that growth is your responsibility. The most important decision a person can ever make is accepting that growth is a personal responsibility. No one else can do this work for you. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your friends, and not the economy. Life does not reward potential. It responds to action. And action always begins with taking ownership of who you are becoming. The moment you understand this, something changes inside you. You stop waiting. You stop hoping someone will rescue you. You begin to stand up straighter because you realize your future is in your hands. Many people spend years blaming their past, their situation, or other people. They talk about what they did not get, who did not help them, or why life feels unfair. That way of thinking keeps a person small. It drains energy and blocks progress. When you decide that your growth is your responsibility, you stop wasting time on excuses. You stop asking who failed you and start asking what you can improve. That question alone can change the direction of your life. Personal growth does not begin with big moves. It starts with awareness. You notice how you speak to yourself. You pay attention to how you spend your time. You begin to see patterns in your habits and results. Some of those patterns will make you proud. Others will make you uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a problem. It is a signal that growth is possible. Avoiding it keeps you the same. Facing it makes you stronger. Taking responsibility means accepting that your current results are connected to your past decisions. This is not about guilt. It is about clarity. When you see the connection, you gain power. If your choices created this life, then better choices can create a better one. That understanding brings calm instead of frustration. You stop fighting reality and start working with it. There will be days when motivation feels low. That is normal. Growth is not driven by mood. It is driven by commitment. When you rely on feeling good, progress becomes slow and uneven. When you rely on responsibility, progress becomes steady. You do what needs to be done because you respect your future more than your comfort. Developing yourself requires honesty. You must be willing to admit what you do not know. You must be willing to say that some habits need to change. This honesty builds strength, not weakness. It allows you to learn faster and move forward with confidence. Pretending you already know everything keeps you stuck. Admitting you are still learning keeps you alive inside. When you take responsibility for your growth, you stop waiting for permission. You read even when no one tells you to. You practice skills when no one is watching. You think about how to improve your work instead of complaining about your job. You begin to act like your life matters, because it does. Growth also requires patience. You will not see big changes overnight. Small improvements often feel invisible at first. That is where many people quit. They expect fast results and lose interest when progress feels slow. Responsibility teaches you to stay steady. You keep going because you know every effort is adding up, even when results are quiet. As you grow, your standards change. You become more careful about what you listen to and who you spend time with. You protect your energy. You understand that growth requires space. Not everyone will understand your focus, and that is okay. This journey is personal. It does not need approval to be valid. Responsibility also means learning from mistakes without self-attack. When something goes wrong, you look for lessons instead of shame. You ask what can be done better next time. This approach keeps your confidence intact while improving your skill. Fear of failure weakens growth. Learning from failure strengthens it. When you fully accept that growth is your responsibility, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances. You become a builder. You build habits. You build discipline. You build self-respect. These things do not come from luck. They come from daily effort. Over time, people will notice the change. They will see more confidence in how you speak. They will feel strength in how you move through challenges. Some will be inspired. Others may feel uncomfortable. Do not let that distract you. Growth often separates you from old limits. The decision to grow is quiet, but its impact is loud. It affects how you earn, how you lead, how you handle pressure, and how you see yourself. Once you take responsibility, there is no turning back. But you realize that the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. And when you commit to that path, your life begins to rise to meet the person you are becoming. Part 2, invest in learning every single day. Once you accept that growth is your responsibility, the next step becomes clear. You must invest in learning every single day, not when life slows down, not when you feel inspired. Every day, in small and steady ways. Learning is not something you finish. It is something you practice. The people who grow the most are not always the most talented. They are the most consistent with learning. Daily learning does not require a perfect routine or long hours. It begins with intention. You decide that your mind deserves care just like your body does. You choose to feed it something useful instead of filling it with noise. This choice, made again and again, shapes how you think, how you speak, and how you solve problems. Many people say they do not have time to learn. The truth is that time is already being used. It is being spent on scrolling, worrying, or repeating the same habits. When you redirect a small part of that time toward learning, everything starts to shift. Even 10 focused minutes can change the direction of your thinking if done daily. Learning keeps your mind active and alert. It prevents life from becoming dull and repetitive. When you learn, you feel movement inside. Curiosity replaces boredom. Confidence replaces doubt. You begin to trust yourself more because you know you are growing. That inner growth shows in how you carry yourself and how you respond to challenges. Daily learning also improves your decision-making. The more you understand, the clearer your choices become. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding thoughtfully. You see options others miss. You avoid mistakes you once repeated. This clarity does not come from luck. It comes from feeding your mind better information. Some days learning feels easy. Other days it feels like work. Both days matter. Growth does not depend on comfort. It depends on showing up. When you learn, even on difficult days, you build discipline. Discipline strengthens self-respect. Self-respect fuels. Learning also keeps you humble. It reminds you that there is always more to understand. This mindset protects you from arrogance and stagnation. The moment a person believes they know enough, growth stops. Staying teachable keeps you flexible and open to improvement. You do not need to master everything at once. Focus on what improves your life and your work. Learn skills that make you more capable. Learn ideas that strengthen your thinking. Learn principles that help you handle pressure and responsibility. Over time, this knowledge connects and creates wisdom. As you learn, your conversations improve. Your words carry more weight. You listen better. You explain ideas more clearly. People begin to respect your perspective because it is grounded in understanding, not opinion. Respect is earned quietly through privilege. Daily learning also builds resilience. When problems arise, you do not panic as easily. You have references in your mind. You remember lessons. You recall experiences. This inner library becomes a source of calm when situations become intense. There will be moments when progress feels slow. Learning often works silently. You may not see immediate results, but something is happening beneath the surface. Your thinking is becoming sharper. Your awareness is expanding. Trust this process. Growth often shows up later, all at once. Investing in learning means choosing long-term benefit over short-term comfort. It means turning off distractions and turning toward improvement. This choice may feel small, but it compounds. Over months and years, it creates a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more capable. When learning becomes a daily habit, you stop fearing change. You know you can adapt because you are always growing. This confidence is powerful. It allows you to move forward even when the path is unclear. Commit to learning every day. Protect that habit. Treat it as a meeting with your future. Each page read, each idea understood, each skill practiced is shaping the person you are becoming. Over time, this commitment will separate you from those who stay the same, not because you are better, but because you chose to grow. Part 3, build skills that increase your value. As you continue this path of development, there comes a point where learning alone is not enough. Knowledge must turn into ability. This is where building skills that increase your value becomes essential. Growth is not just about what you know. It is about what you can do well, consistently, and with confidence. Value is created through usefulness. The more useful you become, the more opportunities find you. Skills are what turn effort into results. They allow you to solve problems, improve systems, and contribute in meaningful ways. When you develop strong skills, you do not have to chase recognition. Your work speaks for you. Many people stay busy but do not become valuable. They repeat the same tasks without improvement. Years pass, but their abilities remain the same. Growth requires intentional practice. You choose a skill that matters and you work on it until progress becomes visible. This takes patience and focus, but the rewards are lasting. Skill development begins with honesty. You look at where you are and where you want to be. You notice the gaps. You accept that improvement will take time. There is no shame in being a beginner. The real mistake is refusing to start. Every skilled person once struggled with the basics. Building skills also requires repetition. Talent grows through practice, not wishful thinking. You show up even when results are slow. You accept small mistakes as part of learning. Each attempt sharpens your ability. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes natural. As your skills improve, your confidence changes. You walk into situations with a calm sense of readiness. You do not need approval because you trust your preparation. This confidence is quiet but strong. It comes from effort, not ego. High-value skills often involve communication, problem solving, planning, and execution. These skills improve every area of life. They help in work, relationships, and leadership. When you can think clearly and act decisively, people rely on you. Skill development also teaches responsibility. You learn that results reflect preparation. If performance is weak, you adjust your training. This mindset removes excuses. You stop blaming circumstances and start improving your abilities. There will be moments when progress feels slow. Skills grow through consistency, not shortcuts. Stay patient. Each hour invested is building something real. Over time, these hours add up and create competence. As your value increases, so does your opportunity. People notice reliability. They notice improvement. They trust those who deliver results. This trust opens doors that effort alone cannot open. Remember, the goal is not to impress others. The goal is to become capable. Capability creates freedom. It gives you options. It allows you to choose better paths instead of settling for whatever comes. Develop skills with purpose. Choose improvement over comfort. Commit to practice even when no one is watching. This dedication shapes character and strengthens self-belief. When you focus on increasing your value, life responds differently. Challenges become manageable. Growth feels earned. And confidence becomes a natural result of preparation, not a performance for others. Keep building, keep practicing, keep improving. The skills you develop today are shaping the opportunities you will have tomorrow. Part 4. Learn from failure instead of fearing it. Growth reaches a deeper level when you change how you see failure. Most people avoid failure because it feels uncomfortable. It brings embarrassment, disappointment, and doubt. But failure is not the enemy of progress. Fear of failure is what stops growth. When you learn from failure instead of fearing it, development becomes steady and honest. Failure is feedback. It shows you where effort was misplaced, where thinking was shallow, and where preparation was weak. This information is valuable. It helps you adjust direction instead of repeating the same mistakes. Those who grow understand this. They do not run from mistakes. They study them. Many people stop trying after setbacks. They connect failure to their identity and begin to believe they are not capable. That belief becomes a wall. Growth requires separating who you are from what happened. A mistake is an event, not a verdict. It does not define your future unless you allow it to. Learning from failure begins with responsibility. You look at what happened without excuses. You ask what could have been done better. This process is not about self-blame. It is about improvement. Responsibility gives you power because it puts control back in your hands. Failure also builds resilience. Each setback strengthens your ability to continue. You become less afraid of trying new things. You understand that progress includes missteps. This mindset allows you to move forward with courage instead of hesitation. There is also humility in failure. It reminds you that growth is ongoing. No one arrives fully formed. Everyone improves through experience. This understanding keeps ego in check and keeps learning alive. People who avoid failure often avoid responsibility and challenge. They choose comfort and stay within limits. Over time, this leads to regret. Growth requires willingness to face difficulty. The path is not smooth, but it is meaningful. When failure occurs, pause and reflect. What lesson is present here? What adjustment is needed? What skill requires improvement? This reflection turns loss into learning. Without reflection, failure repeats. With reflection, failure becomes progress. Failure also teaches patience. Results take time. Progress unfolds step by step. When expectations are unrealistic, disappointment grows. Learning to stay committed during slow progress builds maturity and strength. Another important part of learning from failure is persistence. Improvement does not come from one attempt. It comes from many tries. Each effort refines your approach. Each mistake sharpens your understanding. Persistence turns effort into mastery. Growth-minded individuals see failure as part of the process, not the end of the road. They keep moving, they stay curious, they remain committed. This attitude changes everything. When you stop fearing failure, action becomes easier. You try more, you learn faster. You grow stronger. Courage grows from action, not from waiting. Failure handled well builds confidence. You trust yourself because you know you can recover. You know you can learn. This confidence is real because it is earned through experience. Choose to learn instead of retreat. Choose improvement instead of comfort. Failure does not block growth. It guides it. When you accept this truth, development becomes continuous. Keep going, keep learning, keep adjusting. Growth belongs to those who stay committed even when progress feels slow. Part 5, choose discipline. There comes a moment in personal growth when you realize that comfort has a cost. Comfort feels good in the short term, but it quietly slows progress. Discipline, on the other hand, often feels uncomfortable at first, but it builds strength, confidence, and long-term success. Choosing discipline over comfort is one of the clearest signs that someone is serious about developing themselves. Comfort asks for ease. It asks you to stay where things are familiar. It encourages delay and excuses. Discipline asks for effort. It asks you to act even when motivation is low. Growth always responds to discipline, never to comfort. Comfort keeps life the same. Discipline changes it. Discipline starts with small choices. Getting up when it would be easier to stay in bed. Reading when entertainment feels more tempting. Practicing a skill when quitting seems simpler. These small moments shape character. Over time, they create a strong inner foundation. Many people wait to feel ready before acting. Discipline works in the opposite direction. Action comes first. Feelings follow later. When you act consistently, motivation appears naturally. Discipline builds momentum. Comfort breaks it. Choosing discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, trust grows. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through. This belief strengthens confidence and reduces self-doubt. You no longer rely on external approval because you respect your own effort. Discipline does not mean being harsh with yourself. It means being honest. It means recognizing what needs to be done and doing it without negotiation. This clarity removes confusion and hesitation. Life becomes simpler when decisions are guided by purpose instead of comfort. There will be days when discipline feels heavy. Energy will be low. Progress may seem invisible. These moments are not signs to stop. They are signs that growth is happening. Discipline trains you to continue even when conditions are not ideal. Comfort often disguises itself as rest or reward. Rest is important, but comfort becomes harmful when it replaces effort. Discipline teaches balance. Work is done first. Rest follows. This order creates progress without burnout. Another powerful result of discipline is focus. When you choose discipline, distractions lose their control. You stop reacting to every impulse. You direct your time and energy intentionally. This focus leads to higher quality work and clearer thinking. Discipline also prepares you for responsibility. Life eventually demands consistency. Whether in work, relationships, or leadership, reliability matters. Discipline builds reliability. People trust those who show up consistently, not those who act only when it feels easy. Choosing discipline shapes identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. This identity becomes a source of strength. Challenges feel manageable because you trust your habits. Comfort promises relief, but discipline delivers results. Results bring freedom. They create options. They build stability. Discipline pays back every effort with growth and confidence. This choice must be made daily. Discipline is not a one-time decision. It is a practice. Each day offers a choice between ease and effort. Over time, these choices define direction. Stay committed to discipline, not because it is easy, but because it is effective. Growth follows those who act with intention, even when comfort calls louder. Choose discipline today. Your future self will thank you for it. Part 6. Surround yourself with people who raise your standards. Personal growth accelerates when you pay attention to the people around you. Your environment shapes your thinking more than you realize, and the people you spend time with quietly influence your standards, habits, and expectations. Surrounding yourself with people who raise your standards is not about status or popularity. It is about direction. Human beings are naturally influenced by conversation, behavior, and attitude. When you spend time with people who complain often, doubt grows easily. When you stay close to people who take responsibility, effort feels normal. This influence works every day, whether you notice it or not. Growth requires awareness of this reality. People who raise your standards do not always speak loudly. Sometimes they influence through consistency. They show discipline without announcing it. They respect their time. They follow through on commitments. Being around such individuals changes what you consider acceptable behavior. This does not mean you abandon people or judge others harshly. Growth is personal. It means choosing environments that support progress instead of slowing it down. You can care about people without adopting their habits or mindset. Standards rise when expectations rise. When you see others reading, learning, working with focus, and improving themselves, effort feels natural. It no longer feels extreme, it feels normal. This shift is powerful because it removes resistance to growth. The right people also challenge you. They do not allow excuses to pass easily. They ask better questions. They encourage accountability. This pressure is healthy. It sharpens thinking and strengthens discipline. Being around growth-focused individuals also reduces fear. When you see others taking risks and learning from mistakes, courage grows. You realize that effort and failure are part of progress, not signs of weakness. It is also important to contribute value to these environments. Growth relationships work both ways. You raise your standards and help others raise theirs. This shared commitment creates respect and trust. Sometimes growth requires distance. Certain conversations drain energy. Certain environments promote laziness. Stepping back from these influences creates space for improvement. This choice is often uncomfortable, but it protects your future. Your time is limited. Where you invest, it matters. Choose spaces that encourage learning, responsibility, and forward movement. These environments support standards shape identity. When you are around people who expect more from life, you begin to expect more from yourself. This expectation leads. Growth thrives in supportive environments. Choose wisely. Protect your focus. Align yourself with people who reflect the direction you want to move. As standards rise, effort increases naturally. Growth becomes sustainable because it is supported daily. Surround yourself with those who push you to be better, even when it is uncomfortable. 7, commit to lifelong improvement. Lifelong improvement is a decision made quietly and practiced daily. It is not dramatic. It does not need attention. It is a steady commitment to becoming better than yesterday in simple, practical ways. This commitment separates those who grow from those who stay the same year after year. Life does not stay still. Everything around you either improves or declines. Skills grow dull if ignored. Attitudes weaken without care. Discipline fades when comfort takes over. Lifelong improvement is the choice to move forward on purpose instead of drifting backward without noticing. Growth does not require perfection. It requires consistency. Small actions done daily shape character more than occasional bursts of effort. Reading a few pages, reflecting on mistakes, practicing a skill, or improving communication all count. These actions compound quietly over time. Many people stop growing because they believe they already know enough. This belief closes the door to progress. The moment learning stops, decline begins. Growth-minded individuals remain curious. They listen carefully. They stay open to correction. They understand that improvement has no finish line. Lifelong improvement also means adjusting expectations. What worked before may not work forever. Circumstances change, responsibilities increase. Growth requires flexibility and humility. Admitting the need to learn again is a strength, not a weakness. Commitment to improvement creates resilience. Challenges feel different when growth is the goal. Difficult moments become lessons instead of setbacks. Mistakes become feedback. This mindset removes fear and replaces it with purpose. Daily improvement also strengthens self-respect. Keeping promises to yourself builds confidence. Following through, even when motivation is low, creates inner stability. You begin to trust yourself. This trust supports bigger goals and longer efforts. Time plays a powerful role here. Years pass whether you improve or not. Using time intentionally turns ordinary days into meaningful progress. Improvement does not demand extra hours. It demands better use of the hours already available. Growth also affects how you influence others. When people see steady improvement, it inspires respect. Not through words, but through example. Consistent progress speaks louder than advice. Lifelong improvement requires patience. Results often show up slowly. This tests commitment. Those who continue despite delayed rewards build strength others never develop. Patience becomes a skill, not a burden. Improvement also brings clarity. As you grow, priorities sharpen. Distractions lose power. You become more selective with energy and attention. This clarity simplifies decisions and reduces stress. The commitment to improve does not end with success. Success demands even more growth to sustain it. Skills must expand, thinking must evolve, discipline must deepen. Growth protects progress. Every day offers a choice: stay the same or improve slightly. The difference seems small today, but massive over time. That is the power of lifelong improvement. This commitment creates momentum. Momentum makes effort easier. Growth becomes part of identity rather than a temporary goal. Choose improvement as a way of living. Quiet, steady, and intentional. Over time, this choice shapes character, builds strength, and creates a life that continues to move forward no matter the circumstances. As this comes to an end, understand this clearly. Nothing changes tomorrow unless something changes in you today. Life does not improve by chance. It improves when you do. The habits you practice, the thoughts you allow, the standards you live by, and the discipline you choose in quiet moments are shaping your future right now. You do not need more time. You do not need permission. You do not need approval from anyone. What you need is a stronger commitment to your own growth. Small improvements done daily will outpace bursts of effort done occasionally. Every book read, every skill learned, every habit strengthened is a vote for the person you are becoming. There will be days when you feel tired, days when progress feels slow, and days when doubt tries to take control. Those days are not signals to stop. They are proof that growth is happening. Stay steady when motivation fades. Stay disciplined when emotions rise. Stay patient when results take longer than expected. Your future is listening to what you do today. Choose actions that make you proud tomorrow. Keep building yourself when no one applauds. Keep improving even when the results are quiet. Over time, the world always makes room for the person who refuses to stop growing. Carry this mindset with you. Protect it. Practice it. Your life will never be the same once growth becomes non-negotiable.